What's up, guys? How are y'all doing today? It is hump day, August 15th, 2018. It's your host, Z-Rex, with No Noise Research, coming at you live. We're doing these every day. I'm trying to figure out a more scheduled time to do them. I'm going to kind of do it like a regular programmed television. I know, right? That's old school television. What is that? People still watch that? Yeah, old people, I guess. But yeah, I'm thinking either around mid-morning, lunchtime, or in the evening around 8 or 9 o'clock. if y'all want to just put, let's say 10, 2, and 8. Just write that down in the comments. See where we're gonna go from there. Well, I'm sure y'all are a little bit happier today. There's some bulls are trying to step in a little bit, although it's more likely just kind of liquidation break so far. It's kind of what it looks like. We were just so extended to the downside. Shorts were piling on, have been. They're still pretty high. We'll look at all that here in a little bit. First, let's jump into some pretty funny news here. AT&T is being sued for $224 million after phone hackers rob a crypto investor. Filed in LA, Los Angeles. This guy named Michael Turpin claimed that AT&T employees have been complicit in a SIM swap fraud. That type of scam, I guess. The criminal poses as the owner of the victim of a mobile phone, convincing them to grant access to it. I guess they're like, oh, this is my phone, I lost the SIM card or something. I don't know, sounds pretty far-fetched to me. I'm sure it does happen, but he's saying that they haven't improved protections, even though numerous incidents incidents that some employees actively have cooperated with the hackers and blah 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 blah. Anyway, he wants $24 million in compensation and a further $200 million in punitive damages. This just makes me kind of laugh. Thought I'd start off with something that's kind of funny. Sorry if you don't agree with me. You might be like, oh man, that's mean, dude. This guy lost his money. Well, how did this even happen? It's kind of silly to me. I like AT&T's comment. We dispute these allegations and look forward to presenting our case in court. I don't even know how that happens. Even what if he did hack the phone and like, what if you go and pretend and like, oh yeah, I stole this phone. I know this guy has a lot of crypto on it. Like, that's definitely why I stole it. First of all, those odds seem fairly low. And even if they did, how, like, isn't it his fault that he didn't go change all his passwords and block APIs if he was using them? And as soon as he lost his phone and realized he didn't have it, which hell, nowadays pretty much people know that within like 30 seconds. So, but anyway, there you go. People are just mad because they lost some money. He's trying to say it's AT&T's fault, is my guess. Moving on. Andreas had some good words. There is a little video here. I'm not going to play it on here. Y'all can go watch it. Again, I always do put all the links of all the sites and stuff that I'm reading in the description, so you can just go down there and click on it. But he makes some good points that I would definitely agree on and have brought up myself. Especially this one. ETFs fundamentally undermine the underlying principle of peer-to-peer money. I've pointed this out on this show several times, that it's funny, all these fickle Bitcoiners are like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin is like amazing and it's gonna replace banks and governments and everything. Oh my gosh, though, they're not approving the Bitcoin through the banks and the governments. Oh, sell it off. I mean, it's just silly. It doesn't really matter. Andreas knows. Lots of people know. It's kind of irrelevant. And plus, what about ETFs that are smart contracts that actually could deliver coins and execute it all via that contract on the blockchain? So you don't even need a SIBO or, you know, an SEC or any of that. Like, man, they're gonna have a hard time keeping up with this stuff, y'all. Your keys, your Bitcoin. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin. That's what he said. And he's totally right. If you don't know that, that's very important. You need to look into, research some wallets, read some basic books. There's plenty of information on there about that. We're not going to dive into that. I'm assuming most of y'all already kind of know that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you don't own the keys, it ain't yours. Be aware of the risks. So he just kind of goes in and talks a little bit more like it's going to happen anyway, because there's an enormous market appetite and very little technical knowledge. Of course, just like most things, you gotta make it to where grandma can use it. So they can go click a couple buttons, or actually, if I won't even do that, they call their broker and tell him to buy it. Man, will there ever be like Vanguard, Bitcoin, like mutual funds? And man, that'll be interesting. Yeah, he says he's against them and he won't buy them. Of course, an old school guy like that is not going to do that. You know, he doesn't care about ETFs, and I don't think either of y'all or any of y'all should either. It doesn't matter. It's like there's going to be something cooler that gets built from it anyway, or a better version of it via crypto and the new fintech space that's emerging. So it's not even a big deal. So everyone's just really emotional, though. They're extra emotional too when your portfolio is down 85%. Whoa! After you take out a $140,000 loan. Guys, never do this, ever. You should never do this. I'm not your financial advisor, obviously. Do whatever you want. Take out 10 of these, actually. I don't really care. Like, do whatever you want. But just saying, if you want to keep your monies and not have gigantic risks, this is a terrible idea. That's what happens, though, at the tops. FOMO is dangerous. FOMO and fear, guys, those are some crazy emotions. I guess FOMO, the underlying emotion in that would be more so greed and fear. That's why people don't make money in markets. I think that's the biggest reason. You do the dumbest thing when you keep trading on both of those things, and almost everybody trades off of those emotions instead of being logical. Like we talked about before, when price goes below, even that mistake I talked about in a few videos ago that I did myself. You know, I've traded for 6 years. And, you know, you still do it. You just got to make sure you check yourself most of the time. So I usually do, but it's all good. Live and learn. So, yeah, he's down 85%. Crypto homie, man, on Reddit if you want to go holler at him. Let me go send him some Bitcoin. Pretty wild they even let him get this loan. He says, still 3.5 years to go until I'm freed. Till then, I'm working for nothing, and I'm at an 85% loss. So he has to pay until December 14th, 2021. Guys, the timing on that, wow, right? Damn it, I did it again. At least I remembered. At least I remembered a little bit earlier. Jesus. That's okay. Again, at the bottom, we didn't get that far in. We just talked about AT&T being sued. Here's that article, and I do post them in the description, so there you go. And then Andreas talking about ETFs. Nothing really on that page. Anyway, so you haven't missed much. Don't worry. You missed this cool picture. Well, now you see it of what is that? Dubai. Beautiful, isn't it? Definitely want to go there someday. Soon. Alright, so yeah, a lot of his positions have lost 95%. Yeah, guys, we're in the trenches. It's bloody out there right now. Doesn't mean it can't get any more bloody though. That's for sure. Alright, Overstock shares, even though they've been very crypto centric the last few years, they have tanked about 50% year to date. And if you look at their chart over here, which we'll go ahead and do, look at this gap up, all excited, and then oh no, just kidding. Yeah, that's mean. Look where it hit its peak, about right with Bitcoin. So Overstock seems to be a good play if you want to maybe get exposure to Bitcoin, but not own actual Bitcoin. So just food for thought there. This was a pretty gnarly sell-off from about 47.5 to 30.5. So, ouch. He's not the only one. This market's caused financial upsets more than just Overstock shares. Novogratz at Galaxy Digital. He talked about it the other day. We spoke on it and actually think we read this exact quote. We'll read it again. If he knew what he knew now, that the crypto markets were going to swoon as much and it was going to take so long, I might have stayed private for another year or so and then gone public. That's pretty hilarious. That's a really nice way of saying, damn, I have really shitty timing. Crap, how did I FOMO? See, this guy's been doing this for a long time, man. And he FOMO'd. Okay? He FOMO'd in. It keeps happening. That's also why traders won't make it. You could do really good. I have a friend that did awesome, traded very well for... He still trades. He's been about 8 years. And until the last year or so and a half, he did great. Didn't work. That's all he did. And then lost it all. Just because he got stubborn and wasn't listening to price. Don't do that. I've done it too. Shit. It sucks. Just don't keep doing it. Learn. Ripple is wanting to go to China? Of course they do. He says in a telephone interview, China is definitely of interest. It's definitely a target. China is definitely a country and region of interest. It's a lot of definitelys. Yeah, of course they're gonna go. Duh. It's China, y'all. Like, of course. So this author says, though, you can tell if you... I'm not going to read the whole article, obviously, but you can tell that he kind of doesn't like Ripple. He says, when coupled with the aggressive stance of the Chinese government towards cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, as well as their clampdown on ICOs, it seems highly unlikely that a successful expansion into China would see a spike in XRP adoption. Man, that's... what a hater, right? Of course it would spike XRP adoption. China has lots of shadow banking and crazy restrictions on money, and like, just that's crazy. You can, like, just that alone pretty much shows you how much he hates Ripple. But anyway, I don't like love Ripple, but I like it a lot. It's got good use case and connections, people. It's who you know more so than anything, especially in the finance game. All right, Arthur Hayes. Oh man, this guy. He's pretty funny. He's always been kind of brash. Comes out and says that Ether was a shit coin, mostly pumped by speculative venture capitalists and shit ICO projects. He also called it on his, I think he tweeted out and called it a double-digit shit coin. Or something like that, or triple-digit shit coin. Pretty funny. I've thought the same thing about Ether. I've never really liked Ether, and you know what? My hate for that cost me entering in a position back in the day, because I was actually for Ether a lot in the very beginning before they were even public. So I was like, oh, that'll be great. And like, once they went live and I learned more about the tech and stuff and saw the ICOs coming out on it and just was like, what the hell? I was like, damn, this is scammy. And then the DAO happened. Man, that was pretty rough, y'all. But yeah, the Bitcoin's never had something like that. Yeah, so the VC investor who has never suffered the vagaries of the market is as green as the noob who thinks he or she can go from 1 to 100 Bitcoin in a few trading days. Yeah, don't ever get into trading because of that. And that's usually actually why people do. I don't know why. I guess they like pump little stories of like the 17 people that have done that. And then it makes everybody wish and hope. It's like winning the lottery, I guess, which is really messed up. Like, that's why the finance industry is super screwy and shady. because they don't really tell you any of that. Like, this is the long game. They want to tell you to buy Ripple on CNBC via Poloniex at 3:30, you know? Like, it's just... It's a long-term game. Just trade smaller. Know that this is going to be something in the back end. And be realistic. You can't make a living off of trading if you don't have enough capital. Like, if you have a couple grand or 5 grand, even 10 grand, even 25 or 30 grand, it's going to be really hard to do that. Consistently, especially. So, keep that in mind. But Arthur Hayes... talking that smack on ETH. He says it's going to go below the hundo. It could, I don't know. We'll see. He does have a lot of data. He can see lots of things working at Bitmex. So, we'll see what happens, though. Markets. Here they are. It's all good now, guys. It's good to go. Everything's over. We're back up 3 whole billion. We're above 200 again. Let's go ahead and look at that. Bitcoin dominance, ladies and gentlemen, though, is over 50%. So, there is the market cap. It's trying to. Looks like we're going to have a lot of resistance here around 220. So, if we don't get above 220 on the total market cap, then this is probably just another dead cat bounce. But wait, Bitcoin's going to 10K this weekend. It could, but it's not very like probable at this point. But yeah, the Bitcoin dominance, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. It is interesting. I think that with all the ICO projects and garbage coins out there, maybe when this bull market gets started again, it's not going to start with altcoins, right? Bitcoin's going to have to lead the pack. It's the de facto cryptocurrency right now. It has like SDR, so that's like special drawing rights, like from the IMF. It's like the US dollar. There's not, everything isn't in there. Yuan just got in there. Anyway, I digress. So, Bitcoin's going to have to run up pretty hard to get all the ICOs and the sheeple and noobs excited again. My guess is probably above 10K is what it's going to have to get to for people to start getting really excited and maybe start get that blood flowing a little bit more. And until we do that, it makes sense that even smart money and other people that have taken 90% losses on coins, or a lot of losses, you can look over here on the right side of the screen and just see massive, you know, red, big number reds, like 70+% pretty much on everything. A lot of 90s on the outside of the top 25. So, you know, people are they're sick. They're like, all right, I'm done. I'm selling this and going back into Bitcoin. Smarter money too has probably been exiting these ICOs and dumping all that to get into the run, because it's going to start with Bitcoin. And then once that happens, they can expand and sell out of Bitcoin while it's running up and then go into other altcoins. And then, as y'all maybe know or don't, when you see the excuse me, I guess it's better is it's rises all the tides, or the water the ship. I can't remember that saying. That was a bad one, sorry. No worries. But yeah, Bitcoin's going to have to lead the pack. And then if you've noticed in previous years when altcoins and alt season happens, alts will just randomly pump out of nowhere and then like find a little bit of a new base as Bitcoin's kind of running up. Just like random ones will keep getting hit. So keep an eye on that. If that dominance stays above 50%, I think that's what it's pointing to. So yeah, everything is looking a little bit better except for VeChain. It's only down 99.9%. Okay. Well, wait, that means it's a great buy, right? Well, let's go look at it. Well, let's just look at it in this kind of context. Here's a 3-day. Here's where we are now. There's nothing here. Let's throw on the volume profile to give us a little bit extra info. Yeah, we're in no man's land right here. I mean, we're trying to stop right here on top of that. Oops. Right on top of that, we'll see. But right, if it breaks pretty much this low, I mean, there's nothing holding it up. You're like, well, it's 99.95% down. Well, yeah, but look where it started, back over here. Volume profile isn't even, it has all the business down here. So yeah, don't think that because something's down 99.9% that it can't go down another. That's down, that's 83% more from here. I mean, that's, I've held penny stocks before that you can't even do anything with them anymore. There's no market at all. Like, it's just dead, it's gone, or they just don't even trade. And that's what will happen with some of these coins. We're about to wash out all the trash, just like we did in 2014. A lot of coins died from then, but a lot made it through. So keep in mind that those ones that pulled through from last time are probably going to have relative strength versus the VeChains of the world, or all these other ones that came out and said the same, you know, 5 buzzwords. You know, unbanked, decentralized, whatever, putting this on the blockchain. But yeah, just be careful of that right here, guys. I know it looks really tempting, but it's still very dangerous. This was only 3,500 sats, 4,000 sats, went all the way up to, what is that, 74,000 sats. Yeah, see, because look, it can still look like, what do you got? That. So, all right, let's go to the Bitcoin. Check it out. All these bulls, man, they're everywhere now, man. Oh, there's some good volume on this candle, though. I will say that. I was wondering if that was going to get some follow through. I was watching it last night. Let's go ahead and go to the 4 hour. I'm going to take off that volume profile because we do not need that at the moment. Alright, we'll start at the daily just with the price. So we're still in that box. We talked about yesterday this being a good risk to reward long. If you got some balls, you had the positioning for it. I know one of my buddies had some buy bids underneath 6. They got hit, so I bet he's super excited. Probably felt like a genius. And kind of a tell that we were going to get this pop, and we talked about that as well, was this candle here. Okay. That is a little hammer. That's a reversal type pattern. Doesn't always have to be one. And we compared it to one over here where it didn't play out. There's also one up here where it didn't play out, but it's not really in a good position there. You want them to be like here after big trends. Yeah, like this one or this one. So they don't always work, just like nothing. But what was interesting about this one and made it more technically appropriate and accurate was that the closing price came back above both of these bodies right here. All right. That's a big, huge deal. There, right here and here. This one closed up there, see? So that's a really big deal. That means we're in for at least a little bit of a bounce to get some more energy for the bears if they're still strong. We are getting rejected here on our second moving average. This is the 21 here. I'll show you. Bam. Actually, I think we can just pull it up on here. Yeah, we got 21, 55, 144, and 377. Alright, so we're coming up on the orange. Longest term is going to be your red. So right here, It keeps getting rejected though. Price keeps getting rejected around 6,500. It's going to be a very important area to watch. That's also where these bodies closed over here. I'm actually going to go ahead and throw me an alert on there. See if we can get some price action, because I will be going out here a little bit to hang out with some bros. All right, let's go look at some internals. Oh, bulls got strength. They are now above that critical zone that we like to see, above 25, 26 area. Looks like they just got back up there yesterday evening. Kind of late night. Makes sense. This pop was good. Also, how that daily closed last night. Oh, I'm sorry, not last night. It was the 4 hour. This coming in, it was just ramping right toward. That just was awesome. That was a really good play. Now we are, like I said, this resistance is monstrous, so do be careful of that. Do not get greedy. I already heard some of my friends wanting to get all long already right here, like on leverage. It's like, oh god, don't do that, man. Like you should have did that down here. There's nothing up here telling you to do that yet. You need confirmation. All right. All right. Let's look at. Looks like this divergence played out. You got 1, 2, 3 touches. The markets do like to move in threes. Let's throw on sequentials just for shits and giggles. Let's see. So we're about. See, look at that. Ooh, we are on the 8th. So that's interesting on the 4 hour. If that means anything to y'all. I'm not a huge sequential guy, but so y'all can see it. So we are in the 8th candle. It usually goes in series of 9. Doesn't mean it can't keep going. Obviously, nothing is set in stone. But the bulls tried here on the 4 hour, got rejected immediately back below the 21 EMA. So we're still holding above that. That's going to be, I guess if you did get long, do not hold a position where price closes below this. I would even say if it goes across it, because you can always have these big ass candles where it's just like, oh my god. So be careful here with that. Let's look at Ethereum. Almost the same little pop, except it's not even over the 21 EMA. That's not surprising with the dominance level high, and also we've been talking about the relative weakness that Ethereum has been showing all the way back up until like mid-June. So that's not anything surprising. Once Bitcoin gets some legs again, everything is watching that, and once it kind of can pop, I would imagine a lot of these are going to play violent catch-up. So this hammer looks like it's playing out. This is exactly what you want to see. What we were discussing last night. This one was the nicest capitulation on the daily too. So with this increasing volume, the biggest volume on this one, and then buyers stepped in immediately and start going up. Now I would like for this, how much time do we have till the daily closes? We've only got a couple hours. It's still doable that it can get up over here volume-wise, but I would really like to see the volume match or exceed this previous candle. That would be really awesome. If we go here to the 4 hour, again, bears are bouncing right on this here. I mean, it couldn't really be any closer. I'm not sure if that's very easy to see. I'm going to brighten that up a little bit, just in case. I just like to have my charts a little bit cleaner so it's not so much damn lines and noise and all that kind of stuff. It just distracts you. Alright, so we are bouncing right off of it. We're kind of getting in this chop zone where people don't, where bulls or bears don't have the, I guess they're fighting over it, right? Like we've talked about, but the bears still are right over that 26-ish, mid-20s mark. So careful. They could easily snap and break this pump. This could definitely be just an exhausted move. So let's go look at Litecoin. Charlie Lee. His abandoned baby. Kind of the same deal. Looks like it's trying to come back over this channel that we have drawn. That goes all the way back to the highs here. Take off the internals for a second. There you go. So that's a pretty serious channel. It did breach it just for a second there. So this isn't, that's not that crazy. But do remember, this ramped up hard and just sold off though. So we definitely could get some little FOMO tricking everybody. Yeah, it does look like that easily could be in the cards here. Gosh. We are just beat up. Look at all of this, though. This is nice. It's a good spot, like we talked about yesterday. Good risk to reward if you had a little bit of balls. Or just want to take a small position. You don't have to go all in with everything. You can just buy a little bit, you know. Especially with the cryptos. Alright, let's look at a 4-hour. Oh, so on Litecoin, the bulls are getting a little bit stronger than the bears, and the bears have fallen below the mid-20s. They are falling quickly. So that is interesting. Litecoin seems to possibly want to play some catch-up here. So do be on the lookout for that. It did have about the 3 touches as well. Let's see, did we look at, see if Ethereum had that? Let's go look real fast. Boom, boom, boom. Nah, not as good, because this one was technically lower here. If y'all can see, that is lower. Again, showing the weakness. Careful with Ethereum, guys. It is not the future, in my opinion. One of these new blockchains is going to beat them. Yeah, Ethereum. The flippening with Ethereum and Bitcoin, that seemed... I'll sell you that all day. Let's see. Litecoin. I like Litecoin's chart right here. This could be, oh my gosh, is it doing it? Is it setting up for an inverted head and shoulders? Wow, that lag did not work. Sorry about that, y'all. So what kind of head and shoulders would that be? Is it setting up for one? It definitely could be. I'm sure it's all going to be all over Twitter here soon. Although I don't know, I don't see much as on Litecoin. Most people talk about that pattern in the BTC area, but that is definitely on the path to being a inverted head and shoulders. So not sure. It's too early to tell. We will have a better idea on the 4-hour here. You know, it'll only take another day or so to see if it'll play out. So that's good. Keep an eye on that. Let's go to the rips, the Ripple. Everyone's favorite coin. Oh, bounced pretty hard off this mid-20s after we broke this line that we talked about. Oh goodness, let me go. Didn't want to draw dots there. Yeah, this line, support line from a long time ago. Lots of touches on it all the way back to 17. Pretty much when it got onto Bitfinex. I guess what we could really do is go back to Bittrex and get the dollar. Ripple dollar Bittrex, man, there's just so many of them. There it is. That should have a lot more history to it. Yeah, there you go. Woo! I bet it even has more. It should. There we go, all the way back to 2015. Yeah, maybe this is the new base here in the 20s-ish area. We discussed that a little bit. Also, now we got hardcore resistance at 40 cents, y'all. Just so you know. I'm gonna go ahead and throw me an alert right here for that one. There you go. And so, yeah, this is a really good zone. Let's go ahead and box that in for Ripple. And I'm gonna stop it at about 20. And let's make that green. Oh, no borders. I don't like the borders on there. It's too much. Alright, so there's a green zone for the Ripple. In the teens would be really awesome. Unless Bitcoin just you know, goes to 4,000 something, then you pretty much don't want to be touching any altcoin. All right, let's go to the internals a little bit. Bears right on the threshold, so they could get some energy here, but even in its whole history on the dollar pair, that's it. All the way back to pretty much very beginning of 2015. You can see my crosshair down at the bottom. It goes all the way to where none of the bears, the DMI, that's what I'm calling the bears, the red line on this indicator, they pretty much get stalled out here every time. Even on this dump from 40 to 13, and also on this dump from 2 cents to half of a cent. So that's a pretty substantial hit. So we'll be monitoring that very closely because that's super important. I'm actually gonna go ahead and throw on an alert. Negative DMI cross. This is really cool. You can put alerts on like everything in TradingView. I highly recommend that you'll use it and pay for the upgraded ones. They're great. I should probably put like my affiliate link down there on the bottom. All right, XRP, what are we gonna call this? XRP DMI negative bad. Just so I'll go look at it. All right. And also, guys, what's amazing alert, if you pay for the, I think the higher tier subscription on TradingView, you can have like 100 or 200 alerts, and they're all server side, so it's really awesome for price and indicators. I mean, you can create custom alerts. I mean, you can do all kinds of cool stuff. If you just want basic alerts for just price action, a free service called Bitcoin Checker it's an app, and they have it on iOS. For sure, not sure about it. They have it on app and Android, not iOS. I don't use Apple products, so. But yeah, it's really awesome. I've been using that for a while before I upgraded to TD, and it's on your phone, sends you a little alert, little push notification. It's pretty nifty. All right, so let's ratchet down here. 4 hour. Oh, great. The 3 divergence on Ripple was fantastic. Look at this. 1, 2, and 3. And the orange down here on the bottom is my RSI. Higher, price lower. Higher RSI, price lower. All right, so, and it's in 3. So, yeah, this could be a spot that we could have a nice little rally. And I'm not talking about XRP specifically. Let's actually just go back to Bitcoin and talk about that. And then we're going to wrap it up. So, let's see. And we did get it on the BTC as well. And we are above 50. Yeah, I mean, this is looking pretty decent. I'm thinking that the chances of going to the mid-7s is really high. Because if you pull a fib extension kind of from our range here, there you go. You're like, where's our green box, man, that we've had forever? It's right there, don't worry. Here, let me put the visibility back on hours. Oh, this is a cool thing, too. If you don't want to be able to see all your drawings, you only want certain ones to show up in certain times, just double click on whatever it is and go to visibility, and you just check these boxes, and you can even filter it like, oh, I only want to see it on the 6 hour plus, and or only the 6 hour. You can just put this like right at the same, right, 10 or 9 to 10. So pretty awesome feature there if you were not aware of. So now look, when I go to 4 hour, the box is back. Whoop. All right, so 618 retracement from this would be about 7,500 roughly, 7,460 if you want to be very specific. And the 50%, as you can see right here, is 70. Well, I like to round, so 7,200. I think it's really likely what we need to do to get bullish from here a little bit is to close above this 2-3, which is funny. It stacks right on top of all of this here, because you couldn't have drawn this until this happened. So we can get a close pretty much above and around where these wicks are. we'll probably likely run to 69 fairly easily, which is the 3.8. And a lot of times it loves to go to the 50, especially after it gets a little bit oversold. You're like, well, it didn't do it in any of these. Yeah, but there was still lots of, look at all this. There's lots of buy energy and people to exhaust. So different position in the chart here than we were back over here. So that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. We cannot even think about getting bullish until we get into this area here, the 62, 65 area. All right, y'all. And of course, you know, my stance is the same. It's been the same since I started doing these videos. We drew both of these boxes on there pretty much like when I started, even before price ran up into this box. So it's still firm. And this is the thing about trading and being patient. You can't force stuff. It doesn't work. You can try, but it will not work. Fitting a square peg in a round hole. I mean, I guess if you break stuff, it will work, but that doesn't even apply to markets. So you just can't break the market. But we're not in the clear for bulls for real, and I'm not even going to be super bullish until we close above 12,000. But in the short intermediate run, if we can close above this red box, still the same deal, then, which is about, let's just call it 85. We need to close above 8,500, and then we will most likely run up to, like, I would say 9,000-10,000, if we could do that, and possibly even 12. Possibly. You're like, oh my god, yeah, woo, love this guy. Hey, not until we get above here, and there's lots of stairs on the way, right? So first stair step is we need to just close above 65 first, then we can run to 69, and then that's the top of this box. Isn't that weird? Like, these boxes have been drawn on there already, and I just drew this fib from this closing prices of this area, right? And sorry, from the top of that box. Let me adjust it to the wicks, and it's like landing on all of kind of the spots within. You're like, well, that's not exactly on it. All right, dude, get off me. It's 70 bucks. It's 60 bucks. That's nothing in Bitcoin specifically. So those are the numbers. Keep an eye out for them. Don't get crazy. Getting long here is kind of wild. If you do, use something simple like a moving average to get you out if price goes below it and fast. I think I would rather take long positions. Me personally, again, never financial advice on here. This is just education and my ramblings. But if we can close above that, then your long your short can now be, or your long position and your stop can now be right there, which is a way safer and way less risk than getting long right here. All right, with that said, oh, for you shorters, let me just run that real quick. Shorting here is okay. It has been rejected pretty much by the orange the whole time, the MA. And it has already got rejected by it on 4, about to be in an hour and a half, 5 4-hour candles, okay? I'd really like to see this daily before close above this resistance here. Really, preferably the best if we can close it above 6,500 on this daily that is about to be done in an hour and a half. Totally can do it, y'all. That's nothing. That's 150 bucks. I did it last night, right at the very end of the night. The daily was about to close, like, way bad, and like right here, you see. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Actually, you know, now that I'm doing this, I'm gonna go ahead and adjust this. We don't need it on the hour. It kind of looks a little too much because you're zooming in. See, bam. Way cleaner. So here you go. The close of this day was right here, this candle, And in the last, it was like, oh, it better do it, because this right here is right on the 21 as resistance, and then it blew through it, ran to this, all in the last couple hours of the day, and closed firmly above your orange. Whoop, 55 EMA. So, if we can do that right now, but be above it on the 4 hour here, above 65, then your long would be way safer with a stop just below it. Then you're barely risking like 50 bucks. You got good confirmation. Short, you could be short here kind of in the same area, right? Shorting about here and immediately stop out if we get to like 65. So, there y'all go. Again, this is No Noise Research. My name is Z-Rex. I hope y'all enjoyed. I will be doing these daily, y'all. I know I missed a few. I was on a little mini vacay. It's okay. I'm even going to try to do them then, too, once I get a little bit more stuff and the tech and my things set up and organized more. But all with due time. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Be careful. Happy trading out there. I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace. Oh, I actually just looked over here on the chat. Alternative Thinking. Shout out to you, man. What's up? Like the name. There you go. Rising. Oh, you were listening when I said rising tide lifts all boats. Awesome. Thank you. And you never. Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to say. I was running out of screen space, so I couldn't see that when you typed that. I wish I would have. Do I think crypto will follow gold? I hope you're still listening. I do think... Let me go ahead and just pull it up. Here's gold right here. It's been looking really rough. So... Wow, let me go ahead and just erase that trend line. That's broke. Yeah, gold is getting a little bit oversold. And by follow, I'm not like... By price action, if you mean that, possibly... I do think a good correlation to look at with gold and Bitcoin is when the futures came out on gold in the early 70s and 71. Gold fell like 50 or 60%. And then the next, like a year or so after that, it rallied really hard. Like incredibly hard. Actually on GC, I believe I can show you that right now. GC is the futures contract of gold. So I should be able to go back to its inception. Yeah, there you go. So 75. As you can see right here, there's about 50% crash, followed by, let's just call from about the middle of this run, it went up about 550% after that. So I think we might be leading into something like that, because we are going to hit some currency headwinds in the very near future. And I think gold's going to get really excited about that, as well as Bitcoin. I'm actually shocked Bitcoin hasn't gone off a little bit because of the lira in Turkey and some of the other issues. So maybe it is a conspiracy and the whales are holding it down before they get crazy. No, I don't know. But yeah, I think that Bitcoin's going to follow kind of how gold's pattern did then. Now, you got to remember, too, gold is one of the slowest moving tradables. So you can pretty much say Bitcoin trades like 100 times faster than this or something. All right. ETFs came out in gold right around here. And then look what happened after the ETFs came out. It had another big run. So I think it's going to be following the price action more that way than it is going to be like if it goes down 10% and be like tightly correlated. That's just my thoughts on that. But hey, man, appreciate you leaving some messages in there. All right, guys, take care. I'm signing off. Z-Rex with No Noise Research. Peace for real this time.